What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my final Flash recap and review for Season 6. If you're wondering why I'm holding this, my usual mic is acting up, so I've created this makeshift mic setup. I'm getting a new one in the mail. Hopefully, it's a lot better than this. We'll see. This was not the finale that the Flash team had in mind when they started the season, obviously, and because of what's going on in the world, this was season finale because they weren't able to finish the last two episodes. So keep that in mind as I'm talking about this episode, because I went on social media after the episode and people were like ripping it apart for things that they really can't control. Like, a lot of people were complaining about cliffhangers and loose threads and all that stuff, which is gonna happen because they could not literally finish this episode or this season. I know people were gonna have problems with it, and that's fair. This is not a perfect episode though, but it's still good enough. At least for me, it was good enough. They did what they had to do. They gave us enough interest to want to bring people back to another season or want them to watch another season. So I think it accomplished that. I thought this was a fun episode. Again, not perfect, but I think it worked as a makeshift finale. So let's get into it. Again, I'm talking about Season 6, Episode 19, entitled Success is Assured. If you haven't watched this episode, go watch it on CWTV.com and then come back here because I am talking spoilers. So this is where we're kind of getting into what was supposed to be like the last few episodes of the season, right? Where Team Flash is getting ready to take on Eva McCulloch and Carver, Black Hole, all that stuff, get Iris back, the whole deal. We open this episode with Ava and Mirror Singh talking about their plan and that they're going to start going after Carver, obviously, because that's her plan. She's going after her husband. Team Flash is at Barry's lab trying to put pieces together, trying to figure out how they can find Carver, find Ava. And it turns out that the jewel that Sue Dearborn gave Ralph earlier in the season has a map in it, and with Allegra's power is able to use that map to see Black Hole's whole operation, basically. So they use that to try and find this warehouse where they think Ava's going to strike. They get there, Mirror Singh's already there, and he blows up the place. So now they figure out, okay, so since we can't stop Ava, we're going to have to go protect Carver, which kind of sucks because he's the bad guy, obviously. Barry approaches Carver, tells him what's happening, like, yeah, your wife is alive. She's coming out of the mirror to come get you. And he acts like he's not buying it, but we really know he knows everything. He shows Barry footage of Iris getting sucked into the mirror. So he knew about that too. And it kind of makes sense that he wouldn't care about it because she was going after him anyway, and he mentions that. But he doesn't take it seriously until Ava attacks his people. He gets to, I guess, like a safe house or something where his three assassins, Sunshine, Dr. Light, and Ultraviolet, he goes to check on them and they're all gone because Ava sucked them into the mirror. At first I thought she was going to turn these three into mirror clones, but at the end we see that they don't actually get turned into mirror clones. They just change sides because they realize that Carver is a jerk, which makes sense to me. Once Carver realizes that his wife means business, or I guess I should say ex-wife, really? I mean, are they divorced? I don't know. Once he figures that out, he does approach Team Flash and says, okay, I need your help. They decide to hide him in McCulloch Technologies because he has a safe room. Now, when you walk behind the safe room, which is actually the same room that Iris stumbled upon in the mirror world, right? You walk into this room and you see a bunch of TVs there. I'm like, that's not safe at all. But I guess at this point, the characters don't know that Ava can actually travel through different reflective surfaces, not just mirrors. So because of that, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But it's still really funny that they thought they were going to be safe in a room that had three big reflective surfaces. And she does end up coming through the TV exactly as I thought. So I was like, well, what was the point of that? Now, before we get to the big final battle, let's rewind a little bit because it's going to make sense. When Barry and Ralph go to this warehouse where they think Black Hole or Ava is hiding, right? They find the evidence that Carver had on Sue Dearborn's parents. So Ralph was going to take it with him, but then because the place got blown up, it's gone. So he tries to approach Sue and her parents about it, like, yeah, you're free now, you don't have to worry about it. But then it turns out that Sue, in exchange for her parents' freedom, took their place in Black Hole, so now she's working for Carver. But really, she's trying to get close to him so she can kill him herself. I really like the dynamic between Sue and Ralph this season. It's like they really do care about each other. You can kind of see that, especially Ralph. Like, he even says that he like believes in her, and he tries to talk her out of killing Carver, but it's not gonna work because she's just like, I'm gonna do it my way still. And so I like that dynamic between them. She does this weird tase. I don't know what it was. Some weird thing that like makes Ralph like fall over, and then she tries to go after Carver. But then Ava McCulloch beats her to the punch and kills Carver. Now, I really like the final battle here, but I think the split screen that they were doing a lot, it kind of became a little excessive to a point. Like, it was cool at first, but then they did it for like most of the battle, and it's almost hard to keep track of everything going on at one point. But I will admit that whole fight scene was really cool between Ralph, Allegra, Sue, Nash Wells, and the three assassins. I thought that was really cool. So while everybody's fighting, Barry's trying to protect Carver. Mira Singh shows up, and Ava explodes out of him. Like, he splits apart, and then there she is. Now, I don't know if this means that the mirror clones themselves can work as mirrors, therefore she can come in and out of them. That sounds weird. Or are they clones of her? That part was kind of weird. I wasn't really sure about how that worked logistically. It looked really cool, but when you really think about it, it doesn't totally make sense. I don't know. But Barry tries to convince her not to kill Carver, but of course she does it anyway. And this was really brutal. Like, she breaks the mirror and then like sends the shards through Barry, because like Barry tries to block it and he does deflect it. Now remember, he doesn't have his full speed, so he can't really heal. So this is hurting him a lot. And then he tries to talk her out of it, but she's like, no, and then pushes the mirror through his body into Carver, and then Carver is dead. That was pretty intense. So I think Ava is definitely going to be a pretty formidable villain for season 7. I don't know if she's going to be the big bad for the whole time, again, because they didn't mean for her to be, or they didn't mean for this to be the finale. So I don't know how, if they're going to maybe change it up and maybe make her more of a presence in season 7, which I think could work, because we didn't really get a lot of villain stuff with her until recently. But I think she is a pretty messed up villain, and I'm interested to see where all this goes. Now, there's two storylines, of course, in this episode. One of the big ones being Iris and Camilla in the mirror world. Iris discovers that if she stares at the screens long enough, even though it hurts her, it kind of comes into focus. So you see that she's kind of actually gaining mirror powers while being in the mirrorverse, along with the neurodissonance. So she finds out that Singh is in a hospital in Mirror Central City. That's what I'll call it. And then at the end of the episode, she just disappears. Now, this is something that pissed off a lot of people, but to me, this is actually really exciting because, one, we don't know where she went. It looks like now she basically has mirror powers, which is going to be really cool. I don't know if that's something that's going to stick with her for the rest of the series, or rest of, well, not the rest of the season, but into next season. I'm interested in that. Again, this is not a perfect episode for ending the season, but it does leave enough cliffhangers to keep me interested, but not in a way that totally annoys me. Now, I know this whole time I've been bashing this Mirror Iris storyline, and I mean, I'm still not totally happy she didn't make it out of the mirror, but I understand, again, because it's not supposed to be the ending. But I do think they did enough to keep me interested, and it is getting more interesting now that Mirror Iris is gone, and it's just Camilla, Singh, and regular Iris in the mirror dimension. So I thought that part was fine. Again, it's not perfect, and I wish Iris was more involved in the main storyline, but it is what it is. Let me cut in right quick. This is something I'm recording after what you're seeing on screen because I forgot. But two other things that happened in this episode that I thought were kind of important were Allegra and Nash's relationship kind of getting better. Like, they're starting to make amends, sort of, and Nash saves her and gives her this new gadget that she can use to defend herself, which is cool. So you do get to see a little bit of that, and I'm sure if we had the last 2 episodes, we probably would have seen them completely make up, but I'm okay with waiting for that. And the last big thing of the episode, before I get to the Caitlyn stuff, is Joe West is back out of witness protection because Carver is dead, the person that wanted to kill him in the first place. So it is nice to see Joe back, even though we didn't get Iris. All right, now back to the video. Last story in this episode was Caitlyn / Frost meeting her mom. I mean, that story was fine. It didn't really add much to the episode. I think this is just their way of keeping Caitlyn Panabaker involved while she's pregnant. Like, you see she's sitting on the couch a lot. They frame her shots really high up so you don't see her belly and stuff. She had the baby already, so again, we know for sure she's probably going to be back at full force in the next season. But honestly, these episodes aren't doing, or these short storylines in these episodes aren't really doing much for me in terms of really making me care. Like, it is what it is. I understand they're doing the most they can, but I would have rather they just had her leave earlier in the season, like maybe after Crisis, rather than try and like sprinkle her in here and there, because to me it just doesn't add much. So it is what it is. Overall, though, I would say this was a fun episode. Again, not a perfect finale because it was never meant to be a finale, but I think it's as good as we're gonna get. Of course, there's gonna be a lot of loose threads. It is what it is. The Mirror Iris stuff still continues, but it's not Mirror Iris anymore. Now it's just regular Iris with possible mirror powers. So I would say it was still a fun episode. I would watch it again. I'm not totally mad at it. It's fine. I mean, a lot of people are giving hate for it on social media, but I really think it's undeserved. Like I said, this is not what they planned to do. I have to keep emphasizing that. This was not meant to be the finale. This is just what they were stuck with because they couldn't film the rest. So in that regard, I think it's fine. All right, now overall, season 6 thoughts. I would say this season is probably like right behind season 2. The first half up to Crisis and like right after Crisis was pretty great. I mean, this was a real big step up from last season. Last season was probably the worst in my opinion. This was a lot more like the Flash we knew earlier in the series. Character development worked. The storyline was really cool. The villains are great, and they didn't actually drag them on too long. Like, Bloodwork was there for, I think, the perfect amount of time before it would have gotten too old. Like, Cicada, for example, was on that show way too long. So, it was a really welcome improvement. I think Eric Wallace was doing great. Now, my biggest problem with the season is they gave us the tiniest morsel of reporter Iris. And I had me so excited because it looked like they were finally doing her justice. And then, pretty much in the same episode we were getting Mirror Iris, she gets sucked into the mirror where she's stuck for the rest of the season. That part pissed me off. I mean, I feel bad for Iris as a character for Candice Patton because, I mean, acting-wise, they did give her a lot to do, especially playing two different versions of the same character, kind of like what Tom Cavanaugh's had to do for the entire series. But in terms of Iris, like the Iris we know, her development basically went out the window because she was stuck in this mirror dimension the whole time. So all the great character moments between Team Flash, all the memories, all the battles they've had together, she was not there. So there's like no development for her basically, which is really unfortunate. And I hope they fix that in the next season and they truly give us Reporter Iris. Because the black hole stuff I thought was really cool. And her going after them was like really well done. But everything else after that kind of sucked. Sue and Ralph's story I really enjoyed. We didn't get a lot of it, but the moments we did get with them I thought were really good. They do have pretty great on-screen chemistry. They're really funny. Sue is like Ralph's perfect match in terms of like as a rival and future lover. Spoiler alert. But I think they definitely did a great job of establishing her this season, and I am excited to see where that goes. Another big thing actually about this episode is that Sue is framed for the murder of Joseph Carver. That's another big twist in this episode. That is going to be really interesting. I like that because, one, it keeps Sue Dearborn in the story. It's kind of a plot device, I admit. But it does add another wrinkle to the story that adds more conflict to this. And so I think what's going to happen is they're going to help Sue, and then she's going to eventually join Team Flash officially. I think that's what's going to happen next season. So overall, I thought this season as a whole was good, but more so the first half than the second half. But still miles ahead of season 5. Season 3 and season 4 are kind of on the same level for me. I'm not sure if I'd put this season above the... Actually, no, I guess I would. Yeah, so season 3 and season 4, I would say, are probably not as good as this one. I think this one felt more true to the Flash and the characters, I would say, especially in the first half leading up to Crisis. And then Crisis was okay, was good. So yeah, that's my final thoughts on The Flash season 6. And before I sign off, I have an announcement. This is going to be my last Flash recap and review. At first, when I tried this with both Arrow and Flash, I thought, okay, this is manageable. I could do this. But then, life happened, and then I realized it's actually a lot more work to try and do a video about each and every episode of 2 shows, really. So that was a lot. Now, what I think I'm going to do for next season is probably just do a season review at the end. I might do some kind of recap video towards the beginning if people want that, but I think for now I'm just going to focus more on just doing singular movies or seasons of shows, but the episode by episode thing with my schedule right now, it just doesn't seem to work out. So to everybody that's stuck with me for this whole season of The Flash, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. I get a lot of comments saying, oh, this video is really helpful. This helped me. Like, I can see the recaps do help people, especially someone who's catching up on the show. And they're going to still be there. I'm not deleting them or anything. But for next season, I don't think I'll be able to really do it unless my schedule clears up. We'll see. But as of right now, I would say I'm retiring this series. I guess I'll call it a series. Yeah. But thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for watching my Flash Season 6 episode reviews / recaps, whatever. It's been fun. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe. Also, let me know your thoughts on The Flash Season 6 down below. I would say you could do spoilers because it's a spoiler video, but if I do another review at some point, then probably don't put spoilers in the comments. But then again, if you're in the comments, you should always be aware of spoilers. Whatever. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one. I'm going to do it with my right hand. Peace.